Good evening and welcome to another edition of Mustangs Baseball here at Phil Welch Stadium as the Clarinda A's, who are 16-12, 13-12 in the Mink League, will travel into St. Joe to face your St. Joseph Mustangs, who have come in with a 21-8 record and a 15-8 Mink record, which makes them first place in the Mink North. Just a game and a half above Chillicothe and Sedalia Bombers, who are tied for second. Once again, I'm Clayton Harrison. I'm joined by James Stanley tonight. Start things off with the Clarinda A's. They've won 6 out of the last 10, coming off a 2-game series split with the Nevada Griffins. On Monday night, they lost to the Chillicothe Mudcats 7-3. And just kind of your fun fact for the night, Ozzie Smith once played for Clarinda in the years of 1975 and 1976. The famous Cardinal shortstop played for the Clarinda A's. So, and coming into this series, you want to hit us with some information about this series, James?
All right, so far in the year, St. Joe leads the series 2-0. On June 6th, the Mustangs played them first. That was at Clarinda. They won 10-3. It was their first road win of the year. And on June 8th, the Mustangs won again 10-4. That was at home. That was one of Trent Hill's last games. He went 3 for 5 with an RBI and 2 singles. Dixon Marble pitched as well. He got one of his 3 wins of the year, went 6 innings, gave up 4 runs, all 4 were earned, 8 hits, had 7 strikeouts. And Kyle Urich went 3 for 4 with a double, 3 RBIs, a run, and a hit by pitch. There is a 20-7 run differential here between St. Joseph and Clarinda, so tonight we will see if the Mustangs can tally 10 more runs against these Clarinda A's, who have a very hot hitting team. What happened here at St. Joseph last night, Clayton?
Well, let me tell you, last night was a wild one here at Phil Welch, as it really was a battle of 2 great teams in the Mink League North, as the Bombers came into town to face the St. Joseph Mustangs. And the Mustangs narrowly escaped with a 4-3 victory in extra innings and 11 off of a walk-off hit by Jeremiah Figueroa after Jacob Hirsch blew the save in the top half of the ninth. The Mustangs win in the top of the ninth, cruising up 3-0 and really doing well with Sedalia Bombers on base up to that point. Jake Alou scored the game-winning run. He pinch ran for his Boston College teammate Connor Bacon, and who started the inning with a double down the right field line. And once again, the Mustangs were able to win 4-3 and take a game-and-a-half advantage in the Mink League North. James, can you kind of fill us in on what's been going on with the Mink League North?
All right, so in the Mink League, there's been St. Joe's in first place right now. They have a 1.5 game lead over the Chillicothe Mudcats. Sedalia Bombers as well. They're tied for second. Nevada is sitting at first place in the South. On the flip side, they have a half-game lead over the Joplin Outlaws. Joplin is on a 5-game winning streak and gained a game last night as the Griffins lost. The Mustangs have lost to the Griffins 3 times this year, and the Griffins are also 8-2 in their last 10. So we will see what will happen with the Mink South. That does not necessarily concern the Mustangs as much until later on, as they will be playing in a playoff coming into late July, as it is now the first game in July. The Mustangs come in with 21 wins in June.
And interesting that you say that, James, because just talking about the Mink North, how bunched up it is. The Clarinda A's, who come in tonight, are only 3.5 games back from the Mustangs in 4th place. So it's a really crowded division. A lot of things could change from now until the end of July. So all these games matter, and this is really getting into crunch time. Let's talk about some new additions. The St. Joseph have added a couple new players of recent. Osvaldo Raya, 5'10" right-handed pitcher. He's from Texas A&M International University. He's majoring in special education. He led TAMU, which is the abbreviation for Texas A&M International, and starts with 15 incomplete games with 4. Raya went 6-5 over his 15 starts, struck out a team-high 57 over 84.2 innings. And then Jake Van Vactor, who we've seen the last 2 nights, is a knuckleballer. He's from Kansas City, Kansas Community College, and as we said, has been good in 2 innings of work with the Mustangs. We're going to take a quick break for the National Anthem. We'll be right back with our players to watch and starting lineups. You're watching Mustangs Baseball on UClick TV. And we're back after the national anthem here at Phil Welch Stadium. Some players to watch. Evan McDonald is coming off of a 5-game suspension. He served 4 in a row after being suspended for Game 2 in Sedalia in the doubleheader.
As well, he's also leading the team in batting average. He's hitting .395, has 5 RBIs, 5 walks, 11 stolen bases, been caught 4 times. Another player to watch is going to be Kyle Urich. He's not started the last couple games, but he's hitting .306, has 4 doubles, 4 home runs, 23 RBI, and 10 walks. He's sitting in the top of the Mink League in home runs and RBI. And take us through Miles Kilgore, who's getting his 4th start tonight for St. Joseph.
Yeah, well, Miles Kilgore, he comes in with an impressive 3-1 record, just a hair over 2 ERA with a 2.07. He's got 10 strikeouts and 10 walks, so not a lot of Ks, especially compared to the Clarinda starting pitcher who has 33, Derek Adams. But he lets this good Mustangs defense work for him. He's a tall righty, hard to pick up the ball out of his hands, and he's done a good job so far this season with a 3-1 record.
Go ahead and run through the lineups here real quick for the Clarinda A's. Leading off will be Alex Henwood. He'll play shortstop. Batting second, the right fielder, Bryce Fisher. Batting third, the first baseman, Eric Wagaman. Batting fourth, the designated hitter, Wells Davis. Batting fifth, Parker Phillips. He'll play third base. Batting sixth, Alex Sala, the catcher. Batting seventh, Mondesi Gutierrez, playing second base. Batting eighth, the center fielder, Travis Abel. Batting ninth, Dylan Millar. He'll play left field. So that goes Henwood, Fisher, Wagaman, Davis, Phillips, Sala, Gutierrez, Abel, Millar. Go ahead and take us away, Clayton.
And around the horn, we got Kilgore on the bump. Anderson is going to be his battery behind the plate. Hurst at first, Alou at second, McDonald at short as that pitch is in there, strike 1. McDonald at short, Mealy at third, and then on the outfield is going to go Cox, Rish, Figueroa, and left field, center, and right for the Mustangs defensively. A high pop-up. Kilgore says he has it. He did one of those fakes again, as that's going to go to McDonald for out number 1.
Wait for McDonald to get started back. You know, it's his first game back in 4 games rather. He had a 5-game suspension he was serving, 4 split with 1. He was suspended in game 2 of that doubleheader at Sedalia. But 1 pitch, 1 out, and a good start here for McDonald. Bryce Fisher's hitting .234 on the year, left-handed hitter.
And Henwood, who popped out to short, was going into this game batting .326, and he'll be retired quickly. And the pitch from Kilgore is right down the middle. That's going to be a deep drive to center. Richardson is under it, and that'll be out number 2.
3 pitches, 2 outs. Could not ask for a better start for Miles Kilgore. And Miles Kilgore with that .207 ERA had a 11 ERA into his first start this year, or pardon me, his second start.
And the first pitch is fouled away from Kilgore. 0-1 the count. And the pitch fouled away again. So Kilgore has been efficient as he's jumped ahead on the first three batters early. He has an 0-2 count to Wagaman, who has been the real leader for Clarinda offensively. He's batting .315 with 25 RBIs and 5 big flies. As that ball is laced to Richardson, he'll glide under it and make the out. So after 1, Kilgore retires them in order. Mustangs coming up next. You're watching Mustangs Baseball on UClick TV. And after a tremendous singing of God Bless America, we're back from the bottom of the first here on Nuclick TV, where the Mustangs get a chance to bat against Derek Adams. And James, take it away with the lineup.
All right, Jake Allou's going to lead it off. He's going to play second base. Batting second for the Mustangs, Evan McDonald. He'll play short. Batting third, the catcher, Brady Anderson. Batting fourth, Kyle Urich. He'll play designated hitter. Batting fifth, the third baseman, Louis Millay. Batting sixth, Jacob Hurst. He'll play first base. Batting seventh, the left fielder, Jacob Cox. Batting eighth, the right fielder, Jeremiah Figueroa. And batting ninth, Clayton Risch, and he'll be at center field. That goes Alou, McDonald, Anderson, Urich, Millay, Hurst, Cox, Figueroa, and Risch.
That first pitch is hummed right down the middle for strike one. It gets Alou. Comes in with a .300 average. He scored the game-winning run last night, which we mentioned in pregame. And the 0-1 pitch from Adams. The lefty delivers strike number two. So he jumps ahead of Alou, 0-2. Adams has been outstanding this year. In 18 innings of work, he has a 1.5 ERA. He's only allowed 12 hits. He has a 33-11 strikeout to walk as Alou just sticks the bat out there. A little one-hopper to second. And he beats it with a little somersault to boot. So Hinwood could not get it over to Wagaman in time, and the Mustangs will have a runner on first with nobody out.
Speaking of Ozzie Smith doing flips in the outfield, appears that Jake Alou likes to do flips over first base.
Yeah, he stretched out to try to get that infield single, which he eventually got. And as he hit the base, he went flying towards first base coach Johnny Coy and did a little somersault. And now Evan McDonald, he's going to be back from suspension with a .395 average. He was scorching hot until he had to receive that suspension for the incident in Sedalia. So now he'll come on with Alou on first. He does have good speed. Adams comes set and delivers inside fastball in there, strike one. So Alou looks as at least early he's going to throw strikes. He's really been pounding the plate. And Alou, he really just kind of stuck his butt out, kind of got off the end of the bat, and it was a tough, the ball hung in the air for a long time, and Hinwood had to take it off the short hop, and it gave Alou a good amount of time to chug over there to first. So he's got really good speed, pinch ran a lot. In college, for Boston College, he was able to get on first with an infield single. The 0-1 to McDonald is fouled away.
You know, Alou last night scored the game-winning run, came into pinch hit for Connor Bacon to let off the bottom of the 11th with a double, and I believe he was moved over on a ground out. Then Jeremiah Figueroa with the game-winning hit. Great baseball last night. That's the second Mustangs extra base hit at home at Phil Welch.
Adams gives the runner Alou a look. The 0-2 pitch just misses on the outside corner. We're going to quickly do around the horn here as Adams is pitching. Salah at catcher. Wagaman at first. Gutierrez at second. Hinwood at short. Phillips at third. And then around the outfield, Millar at left, Abel at center, and Fisher in right. And the 1-2 pitch from Adams is again fouled away down the right field line by McDonald. So McDonald doing a good job of protecting with 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You know, the last 7 days, McDonald, well, has been playing the last 4 days, but he's had a .333 batting average, a .500 on base percentage, so it just kind of stinks that this suspension came in the midst of his hot streak.
The 1-2 pitch just misses inside. Count goes to 2-2, so McDonald's done a very good job working Adams early on in this game, trying to get a pitch that he likes and battling off the ones that are Adams pitches, as Adams will quickly fire in another foul ball.
He only has 5 walks, however, so I'd be surprised if he's able to work a full count here and able to draw it, but it could happen.
McDonald has been good with that batting average just a shade below .400. Alou is at first. He hasn't threatened to go yet, but he does have speed. And Adams misses inside, and now the count is 3-2 to McDonald. Clarinda A's traveling into St. Joseph to face the Mustangs. The 3-2 pitch is fouled away.
But McDonald has 15 hits, 38 at-bats, so not had a lot of at-bats compared to some of these other players for the Mustangs, like Anderson, who's had 66, or Urich, who's had 72.
Well, a lot of these Mustangs, it took them a little while to get going here at St. Joe, but you know, the McDonald, who's going in his 3rd year here for the Mustangs, he jumped right in and really attacked from the moment he got here from Georgia Southern, so he'll foul another one away. And this at-bat continues as Adams and McDonald are really in a battle.
Lots of free baseball. Well, lots of free baseballs. We had free baseball last night.
Oh, did we? Adams comes set, gives Lou a look, and delivers. And that ball is pulled down the left field line and deep. And gone! Just inside the foul pole, Evan McDonald with a 2-run home run, and the Mustangs jump ahead quickly without an out and are up 2-0. So McDonald's first big fly of the year puts the Mustangs up 2-0 as he drove in Lou. And it took him a long time to do it, but he got his pitch right down the middle and pulled it down the left field line. And we have a 2-0 ball game.
First extra base hit of the year for the junior from Georgia Southern. Happens to be a 2-run home run. That's one the Mustangs needed here. Division game here against the Clarinda A's.
That'll bring up Brady Anderson, who has 2 home runs himself. Will follow Evan McDonald. Still no outs. Mustangs up 2-0, as we said.
So McDonald does not appear to be fazed by that 4-game break he had. It's just hopping right in there and swinging a hot bat.
With Mealy and some of the other guys getting hot, Urich as well, is going to really help the Mustangs even more to have the hot Evan McDonald as Brady Anderson hits a ground ball up the middle, and a great spinning pirouette by Henwood will retire Anderson for the first out of the inning. So Anderson has the first out of the inning with a ground ball to Henwood. And that'll bring up Kyle Urich, who is batting .306 and has 23 RBIs, just 2 behind the league leader, which is tied between Wells Davis and Eric Wagaman, both on Clarinda's team tonight.
First game for Urich in a couple of days. He's been benched. See if he can get a home run off of Derek Adams.
And count now 1-1 as the inside fastball is called a strike by home plate umpire Sean Belty. Ball misses low and away, 2-1 now the count. Like we said, Urich is 22 for 72 this year. He's really came on as of lately, but has not been in the Mustangs roster the last couple days. Urich takes low, count now 3-1.
So this is a rare instant for St. Joseph to score 2 runs on a pitcher who's hitting, who's has an ERA of 1.5. Already up on him big.
Urich takes a big cut at a fastball. It was just a little bit out in front of it, and the count goes full. But yeah, as you were saying, Adams has been very successful this year. He has 18 innings of work, only a 1.5 ERA, and the Mustangs have really jumped on him. Maybe part of the scouting report as Urich walks, but they knew Adams was going to throw strikes, and they've really jumped on his fastball and been able to spoil some pitches, and really, especially in the Evan McDonald at bat. You could tell that Adams really didn't have an out pitch against him, and that eventually came to hurt him as he just had to hum one down the plate because he knew essentially Evan McDonald could foul off anything he had to offer. So first inning continues, 1 on, 1 out. Mustangs have already scored 2 as Luis Mile takes a big cut at a fastball and goes foul.
Everyone on this Mustangs lineup is just producing right now. Millet has had 2 doubles a couple nights ago, or has had 3 the last couple of days combined, and he's been starting every day for Johnson. Johnson has a lot of confidence in him. So he's hitting .359 right now, has 23 hits, 9 extra base hits.
And add another hit to Mile's total as he keeps the line moving with a single to left. And Mile stays hot. And then I'll move Urich up to second.
You really cannot find one player on this Mustangs lineup who's not producing. The team may be hitting .253 as Clarinda is hitting .282. But when hits are needed, they come through in the clutch. It's one of the most clutch teams in the entire Mink.
And it'll be interesting to see how early Clarinda's bullpen gets going, as this is kind of getting out of crunch time for them, being 3.5 back of the North Division lead. As Adams fires high, it's Jacob Hurst, who pitched against the Rossville Rattlers, had a good outing. But offensively, he's just a shade under 200 on the year, batting .194. He's came through at times, but for the most part has struggled. He's takes a big cut, and count goes to 1-1.
Yeah, he's able to get the win against Rossville on June 29th. He went 6 innings, gave up 1 run. His best outing so far of 2016, allowed 5 hits, 3 walks. Struck out 4 batters, also a season high. Improved to 3-1, and now he's tied for wins with Miles Kilgore.
Pitch in there, strike 2. So Hurst down on the count, 1-2 to Adams. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Adams comes set, gives Mealy. Oh, and that ball is past the glove of Salos as an up and in on Hurst, and the runners will both move up 90 feet. That ball really looked like it might have slipped out of the hands of Adams. It looked like he kind of got crossed with Sala. Maybe a miscommunication on signs. Maybe Sala was looking off speed. Count 2-2. Runners move up 90 feet on the wild pitch. Mealy will slide to second. And a ground ball by Hurst that gets past the glove of Wagaman. Urich will score. Mealy comes around third and will also score, and Hurst will cruise into second with the double. So make it 4 runs for the Mustangs as Hurst has a 2 RBI double to keep it going, and there's still only 1 out.
That's also Hurst's first extra base hit of the year, and it's a 2 RBI double to right. So McDonald and Hurst both getting in the extra base hit category. The only people now that are missing from this is Jeremiah Figueroa, who has no extra base hits, and Jake Alou. Jake Alou's not been playing very long for St. Joseph, so hopefully he can get on the board tonight.
Tyler Cox looking to get his 14th RBI on the year. So he takes a big cut at a 1-0 fastball and swings right through it. Count now 1-1.
Speaking of somebody with a lot of power, Tyler Cox, 2 doubles, 2 triples, and 3 home runs with 13 runs driven in.
And his average is creeping up as well as he swings through a changeup. Count goes to 1-2. He takes some big swings. He'll swing and miss a lot, but when he gets bat on the ball, it really comes flying off as he hits a lot of hard line drives that can really, if he gets underneath the one, send it out of here in a hurry. The 1-2 jams him, broken bat, ground ball to first. And Wagaman will take it himself for the second out of the inning, moving Hurst up to third.
So Hurst moves 90 feet closer. An infield single will score him, and that's kind of a 90 feet traded for a broken bat. Too bad Hurst was not standing on third base. The Mustangs would be up 5-0. The hero from last night, Jeremiah Figueroa, only has 4 hits on the year, but one of them came last night. That's probably his most important hit. Also has 1 run driven in. However, his defense is always consistent.
Ball misses inside. He's been a very good defensive outfielder, both at the corners at left field and right. So he pulls one down the line, but foul. That was really close.
Fans at Phil Welch were thinking they had another run on the board, but just missed by a gnat's eyelash.
Ball went bouncing right over third base, and home plate umpire Sean Belty jumped right in front and called it foul. And the count is 1-1 now to Jeremiah Figueroa. As you said, the hero from last night, as he's fooled on a changeup on the outside corner. Swings right through it.
You know, we started to wonder why Matt Johnson was not subbing in Kyle Urich for Figueroa, especially with a righty-righty matchup, Urich being a left-handed hitter.
The 1-2 is spoiled by Figueroa. And also
correction, Urich being a right, well, would have been a righty-righty substitution. My apologies there.
Considerable better average and better RBI numbers. He had him and Cox on the bench, but he decided to stick with Figueroa, and Figueroa laced a single right up the middle for the walk-off win for the Mustangs in the 11th inning as he spoils another fastball.
He swung on the first pitch as well, and that was kind of a surprise to jump out early. The Mustangs did that a lot last night, and sometimes they made contact, sometimes they didn't.
The 1-2, a big curveball strikes Figueroa out. The Mustangs stand 8 to the plate and score 4 runs on 4 hits, highlighted by the big 2-run bomb by Evan McDonald. Mustangs jump ahead early, 4-0. We'll have the top of the second coming up. You're watching Mustangs Baseball on UClick TV. tournament knobs. And Kilgore's first pitch is in there, strike one. He retired the Clarinda A's in order in the first inning. As that ball is driven to left, Cox is drifting out there, and he does a good job of tracking the baseball and retiring Wells Davis, the 291 hitter, for the first out of the inning.
So that's now the third pop-up to the outfield. Henwood popped out to short to lead off top of the first inning. Now Parker Phillips, who's leading the Mink in batting average. 32 hits, 8 doubles, 1 triple. Speaking of hits, 70 years ago today, Joe DiMaggio tied the mark at 44 on his 56-game hit streak.
First pitch misses up and away by Kilgore. Kilgore has worked very quickly and efficiently so far tonight as he answers with a fastball for a strike. Count goes to 1-1. Parker Phillips, 330 hitter. 20 RBIs, has been a real solid man in the lineup for the Clarinda A's as that pitch misses low, and count now 2-1. Anderson completes the battery for Kilgore. He'll be catching his second game in a row. And if it's close in late innings, we might see a situation like we saw last night with Ozzie Rodriguez. A little bit more reliable defensive catcher, came in late in the game. But Anderson has been providing a lot more at the plate as Kilgore misses 3-1 now.
Tonight could be a situation where we see Johnson maybe go with Ozzie Rodriguez in the later innings.
And Phillips thought he walked, and I'm not quite sure why, because that pitch was right down the pipe. And home plate umpire Sean Bolte will tell him to step back in there. And the strike zone probably just got a little bit bigger after that.
Well, he's drawn 8 walks and he struck out 16 times, so we'll see if he maybe will strike out a 17th as Kilgore has another chance.
And Kilgore's pitch is belted to left, but foul. As that ball was really turned on by Phillips, but just could not keep his hands in long enough, and that ball goes foul over to the rec center. And we'll do the full count pitch again. 3-2, 1 out, nobody on. Kilgore from the windup. And misses low, he walked him.
Walk number 9 for Phillips.
And that's Kilgore's 11th walk of the season and the first Clarinda base runner. That'll bring up the catcher Alex Sala, who's batting just a hair over 230. His 9 RBIs, 15 hits on the year. 4 of those have been doubles. He bats from the left side. And like a lot of teams in the Mink League, their batting kind of drops off power and average as we go 6, 7, 8, 9 here.
Sala has drawn 22 walks this year. That's the best on this Clarinda A's team.
Kilgore comes set, and the ball is fouled away by Sala. First time in the stretch by Kilgore. We'll see how he reacts to it. But Kilgore has struggled at times, especially in his first couple starts with control, but really has harnessed that as of late. Kilgore comes set, slide step, and misses up and away. Count goes to 1-1.
Clarinda's also grounded into 23 double plays, so the Mustangs will be looking to turn 2. Could be a 4-6-3 situation here from Alou to McDonald to Hurst. See if it can happen.
The 1-1 pitch is fouled away. Mile's not going to have any room as that goes over by the bouncy house. Count goes to 1-2. Kilgore has been working primarily fastballs here as he's really been attacking the Clarinda A's both inside and outside, really getting the corners. That's what I say. A well-located fastball is usually a pitcher's best pitch, and Kilgore's really been relying on that. The 1-2 pitch is golfed into right, and that ball's going to be deep, but Figueroa settles under it. A couple steps in front of the warning track, and that'll be out number 2. So Sala gave it a ride, but Figueroa was right there. 2 outs now with 1 on.
Figueroa had a good read on that, didn't have to range far back. He back to his left 10 or 15 steps and just went right to the warning track.
That'll bring up Mondesi Gutierrez, who's playing second base tonight for the Clarinda A's.
He's 6th in batting average in the Mink. He's driven in 16, hitting .289, 33 hits, 5 extra base hits, 3 doubles, and 2 triples.
Kilgore misses low with the 0-1 offering. Count pushes to 1-1.
You know, the Mustangs as a team, their ERA is actually .02 points worse.
That ball's grounded to third. Millet is going to throw a dart over to Hurst, and that'll do it. Mustangs avoid the leadoff walk by Phillips. Or correction, the one-out walk by Phillips. And retire the side with no harm done. We'll head to the bottom of the second inning. Mustangs lead 4-0. You're watching Mustangs Baseball on UClick TV. And Clayton Risch will lead it off for the Mustangs. The only Mustang to not bat in the first inning. He's the number 9 hole hitter tonight. First pitch by Adams misses high and away. Risch is batting .250 on the season, but he does have a .391 on base. So he's drawn a good amount of walks. He's been a patient hitter. The count is 1-1 now to him. So his average doesn't tell the whole story. He's been a pretty good production from the number 9 spot, which is where he's been at most of his starts. I think he's been at the 8 hole a couple times as well. But almost a second leadoff hitter for St. Joe. He's got good speed in the outfield as he laces a single right up the middle. And the Mustangs keep it rolling and pick up right back where they left off with a single by Risch.
That's Risch's 15th hit of the year. He has a couple of extra base hits. He has 2.
And he's a guy that at times has been kind of forcing Johnson's hand to get in the lineup a little more. You know, him and Figueroa, there's kind of in Richardson, there's kind of a tree in the outfield, and there's positions up for grabs out there. The first pitch misses high to Jake Alou. As nobody's really had a great batting average out in the outfield. It's kind of been a tree of 6 guys for 3 positions almost, and they've really been rotating around. Nobody's commandingly taking an everyday job. So Risch can make his case to manager Matt Johnson to be in that lineup come late July.
Derek Adams into his second frame of work gave up 4 runs in the first. Only gave up 4 runs coming into tonight's game. So now it's doubled to 8. ERA has to be taking a bit of a hit.
And you wonder how guys react to that sort of situation when all year they've had success. They haven't given up a lot of runs, and all of a sudden they give up a 4 spot in the first inning, and really will test somebody's character. As Alou is now ahead 2-0, he's going to be looking for his pitch as he watches one right down the pipe. Strike 1. Jake Alou let things off with that infield single to shortstop that he really hustled down the line. Showed his effort. That's one of the reasons why Matt Johnson wanted him here. The 2-1 pitch is hit rather deep to center, but Abel's going to be right under it and camp there and record the first out of the inning. So Lou flies out to center for the first out, and that'll bring up Evan McDonald. Evan McDonald had the big 2-run home run last inning. That really started things off in the 4-hit first inning from the Mustangs. That was his first big fly of the year as he takes a curveball in there, strike one.
He's hitting well above the 400 mark. Came in tonight hitting .395, .465 on base percentage, getting on almost a batter every other time.
Clayton Risch over at first does have decent speed. Adams is going to give him a look. Nothing going. Maybe a hit and run possibility here. We'll see what Matt Johnson draws up. Adams comes set and fires. Up and away, says Sean Belty, and count goes to 1-1. It's always interesting to see what these Mink League umpires' strike zone is, as it kind of varies from night to night depending on the umpire. Curveball misses high. As of now, Belty's strike zone has looked rather tight but rather fair. This has been very consistent so far early on. The 2-1 pitch for Adams is check swing by McDonald. Didn't mean to do it, but he fouled it off, and he shakes his head. It will step back into the box.
Two balls, two strikes. The call for Sean Bolte. Out on the field, it's John Sweet, the field umpire.
We've seen a lot of him. We've talked about that multiple times. Curveball is laced to right field, and that's going to drop in front of Fisher. So McDonald, 2 for 2 in the first 2 innings, as he has a home run and a single, and Risch will move up another 90 feet.
Who knows? McDonald could still go for the cycle. The way he's going with 2 at-bats in 2 innings, it's a possibility.
It's only 1 out for Adams, so he's given up 4 runs and 6 hits while only completing 4 outs, so it's been a rather rough start for Adams. No activity in Clarinda's pen yet, as they're going to trust their left-handed ace to hopefully resurrect the game here, as Brady Anderson will step in from the left side of the box in the lefty-lefty matchup. He grounded to short his first time, and he'll ground that ball over to second. Bobbled, and not in time, as that's going to be an error on Mondesi Gutierrez. Maybe got a little bit ahead of himself, as Risch will jump to third and McDonald will move up to second on the air by Gutierrez. Gutierrez was trying to turn 2, and he kind of turned before he was able to field it and went off the end of his glove, and that's the first error for Clarinda, and the bases are loaded with 1 out.
You cannot afford to give these Mustangs an extra out in the inning.
Especially with Kyle Urich stepping up to the plate. We know his power and his ability to drive in runs as he takes a fastball in the outside corner.
He walked his last time. He comes in tonight hitting .306.
Risch followed by Millet as the curveball misses up and away, does not catch the back door.
The last 7 days he has a .600 slugging percentage with 2 doubles and a home run. 6 RBIs, so 1 swing of the bat could make it 10.
Ball misses low. Anderson on first, he got on via air by the second baseman. And then Risch is on third, he got on by a single, and McDonald on second also got on by a single. So that's the story here in the second, with only 1 out recorded by Adams.
The top 3 players in RBI are playing tonight. 2 for Clarinda, 1 for St. Joseph, and that is Kyle Urich, who's sitting at third, and tied for first is Eric Wagaman and Wells Davis, both with 25.
And Urich takes a big cut on a fastball, which he was looking for with a 3-1 count, and just fouled it straight back, just missed it, a little bit upset with himself as he hits his bat on his shoes, and he steps back into the box with a full count.
The walk here is as good as a hit. Pass it on to Louis Millet, who's swinging a hot bat. He's on deck.
First baseman Wagman playing a step in, and a big cut on a curveball, and that was a huge strikeout for Adams. As Millet will step in the box now for the Mustangs with 2 outs and the bases loaded.
That might have been ball 4. Urich is not happy with himself on that. He doesn't strike out a lot.
It was a good pitch. It had a lot of late break to it, and it kind of broke into the kind of one of those back shoe curveballs is what they call it, with a lefty-righty matchup. And that ball is smashed by Milei. It's going to be deep into the gap. And one hop the wall. One run is in, Risch. McDonald is in. And Anderson is in. And Milei stays hot with a big 3-run double. And the Mustangs now up 7-0. And this game's really broke open.
And this might be a curtain call for Derek Adams as he's given up 7 runs. And Lewis Millet, bases clearing triple. Pardon me, bases clearing double. He's a triple home run away from the cycle. We've yet to see a Mustang or any hitter hit for the cycle in the Mink yet.
So Millet is 2 for 2 with 3 RBIs. Mustangs up 7-0 here with 2 outs. And that was a big hit by Luis Millet, really when they needed it after the Urich strikeout, and a way to pick up your teammate. Nothing better than a big line drive in the gap. As Hurst takes a strike with a curveball in the outside corner, count goes to 0-2. Hurst doubled his last time up and had 2 RBIs in the 4-run first as he takes low, ball 1. The Mustangs offense has really ambushed Adams, who, as we said, came into this game with a 1.5 ERA, and I'm sure he's kind of wondering what's going on. He hasn't been wild. The Mustangs have just really been patient and looked for their pitch and drove the fastballs that he's left all over the plate.
All 3 of those runs will be unearned as the bases were loaded following. There was an error earlier
on the second baseman.
And that would have been the 3rd out following Urich's strikeout.
The 1-2 misses low.
So Adams' ERA may not be taking that much of a hit. Right now he's set up for his 2nd loss of the year, as Clarinda will have to battle back after giving up 4 runs in the first and 3 runs in the second. And Hurst doubled his last time, so Adams will need to be careful.
And 3-2 now the count. So Hurst jumps all the way back after being down 0-2, now a 3-2 count. And we talk about matchups in baseball all the time, and Clarinda's not a terrible ball club. They're just a shade over 500 in the Mink, but the Mustangs have been very successful in this matchup with the Clarinda A's so far, as Hurst swings and misses, and we'll pick up right back where we left off on that note. But the Mustangs score 3 more, highlighted by the 3-run double, bases loaded clearing 3 RBI double by Luis Millet. Mustangs on top 2-0. We'll be right back. This is Mustangs Baseball on UClick TV. I'm Clayton Anderson alongside James Stanley. And the Taco Man is up as he avoids the fan getting tacos, the single to the left. That's a base hit by Travis Abel to start the third inning. That'll bring up Dylan Millar, the left fielder, who rounds up the lineup for Clarinda. We had a nice little comedy performance in between innings. It's talent show night here at Phil Welch, and Kai Turner always has some tricks up his sleeves, and there's been some funny stuff. There's a good dance performance, a lot of some talent, people trying to show what they can do in front of this audience on Friday night.
Might even see a dance performance by our own Clayton Anderson.
I can't tell you if that's going to happen, but hey, I know the fans want it.
Well, it might on July 23rd.
The 1-0 pitch is kind of a weird spinning ball, but fouled off the end of the bat. Count will go to 1-1. But I bet it makes some of these talents easier, at least for the guest over 21 years of age. With this being Friday Night Lights, dollar beer, makes it a little bit easier to go up in front of your peers and do some talent, and maybe some comedy and some karaoke and so forth. So promotions kind of line up like that, as it looks like Millar broke a bat as he'll go over and grab a new piece of lumber. And we'll kind of pause for a second.
Speaking of promotions, tomorrow night, Sunday night, and Monday night, fireworks, and more fireworks.
Boom, boom, boom.
We're going to have a big firework night on Saturday night, so come out to the stadium as the Mustangs going to take on North Kansas City. On Sunday, we're going to take on the Van Johnson Raiders. And there'll be even a bigger firework display leading up to the ultimate fireworks display on July 4th against Sedalia. So there could be other fireworks on the base pads. If you're familiar with what has been happening between the Bombers and the Mustangs in their Mink League rivalry, the Bombers are a half game back of the Mustangs, tied with the Chillicothe Mudcats. On Tuesday, the Mustangs will travel to Chillicothe. The game can be found here on uclicktv.com.
Millar comes to this game batting 192 as he's now down to 0-2 and has looked rather uncomfortable at the plate against Kilgore. He's not got any full swings. His timing's been way off. He's batting 192, has 15 hits on the year, only one double, and he's driven in 10. And that ball is a high fly ball to center. And Risch will call off Cox. And that'll be the first out of the inning.
Can of corn, an easy one there. He had to range a little bit, but it was just a soft fly ball. Mustangs could get out of the inning with a double play, and said earlier, the A's have grounded into 23 double plays in 39 games.
So
29 games.
One out here in the top of the third as Kilgore has been cruising right along here as he'll face the top of the order for the first time since the first inning. And he fires. That's another high fly ball drifting out towards center. McDonald has it in shallow center, and he'll record the out for out number 2.
These one-pitch outs are really going to help Kilgore later on as he's trying to keep his pitch count down. He may not get a lot of strikeouts, but when you're a flyout or a ground-out pitcher, that's just as important, getting batters to swing on the first pitch and give up their at-bat. So 2 pop-outs to short now for Alex Henwood, with the 234 hitting Bryce Fisher stepping in from the right side. Shows bunt. It's going to be foul down third base side, picked up by Malay.
Fisher flew out to center his first time. The lefty has 15 hits on the year, 8 RBIs. Clarinda and the Mustangs wearing very similar style jerseys. Both have the jersey vest. The Clarinda's is gray with powder blue trim and the powder blue undershirt with red outline. And the Mustangs are white with the red trim and the red undershirt. Ball ground to Milay, and he boots it. The throw to first, not in time. So that'll be an error on Milay. And Fisher will be on first with 2 outs.
All these runs will be unearned from this point out. Hopefully Kilgore will not have to accept any of those. He got Wagaman to pop out to center field his last time, so maybe he'll be able to do it a second time.
And Wagaman has been deadly this year, as we mentioned, 25 RBIs, 5 home runs.
He's tied for first in the Mink in RBIs and home runs.
A guy, if you're Kilgore, I'm sure you didn't want to necessarily face him with guys on base, would have rather faced him and lead off the next inning, but
on deck, his teammate who he's tied with has hit 5 home runs and driven in 25. So this is the Bash brothers for the Clarinda A's, the Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire. You're familiar with the 1988 Rookie of the Year winner in McGuire and the candidate with Jose Canseco, played for the Oakland A's.
Maybe just minus the steroids, James, but similar numbers, at least compared to the Mink League numbers, not upwards of 60 home runs as McGuire was able to do later in his career. But I do like the comparison, as it's 1-2 now to Wagaman, the first baseman. Fastball inside Kilgore, and Kilgore's doing a good job of, a lot of guys would maybe try to finesse a guy like Wagaman with lots of curveballs, lots of changeups, but Kilgore sticking to himself, saying, I'm going to throw this at you, and you're going to try to hit it. And he's been saying with fastballs, not afraid to throw inside to Wagaman, as we see right there. The 1-2 pitch by Kilgore is grounded on the third base line and foul. So they'll do the 1-2 again.
Wagaman has 111 at-bats, and that is just insane compared to these other numbers. If you look at the Mustangs, the person leading the team with the most at-bats for the Mustangs is Jacob Richardson with 88. So the A's have played 29 games. The Mustangs have played 29 as well. But it seems like the A's have had hot bats all year. The bullpen's just not been there.
And a good block by Anderson. Keeps the runners at pat where they are, and count will go to 2-2 now.
There's really one thing that the Mustangs could fix, probably closing out games.
They have a tendency to make games exciting at times, which is good for the fans, but not necessarily good for Matt Johnson, as that ball is strike 3 on the curveball, and Clarinda strands 2. The Mustangs still ahead 7-0. Well, the bottom of the third coming up here on UClick TV. This is Mustangs Baseball. In the bottom of the third, we'll have a new pitcher, Corey Simpson. Corey Simpson comes to this game appearing in 4 games. 2 of those were starts and 9.9 1/3 innings pitched. He is a 0-0 record. He's given up only 3 hits, 3 runs, strikeout to walk ratio of 8-5, and a sparkling .96 ERA. He has the high stirrup socks, and that'll do it for Derek Adams after only 2 innings of work. He'll face Tyler Cox. Tyler Cox grounded to third his first time. His count now 0-2. Cox batting .266 on the year, and a line drive into the gap and a diving play by Fisher, and that was a great snag for the first out of the inning. So Tyler Cox is robbed here in the third. Tough luck, 0 for 2 for him. That'll be the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up Clayton Risch.
It did not take. Okay, let's try this again.
And a ground ball by Figueroa. Chopper to shortstop. And quickly, Simpson is retired 2 outs as Figueroa grounds out to short, and that'll bring up the number 9 hole, Clayton Risch, who has a single and a run scored tonight so far. He'll trot over to the right side of the box and try his luck against Simpson.
There it goes.
Mustangs lead 7-0, 2 outs. The first pitch is low in the dirt, ball 1.
Sorry about the technical difficulties. In case you're just now joining us, Cox flew out to right, and Jeremiah Figueroa grounded out to shortstop, and now there's 2 outs in the bottom of the third, with the Mustangs leading the A's 7-0.
2-0 the count to Clayton Risch against Corey Simpson. He takes a high fastball that just missed the zone, now 3-0. And he'll be taking here, I'm almost 99.9% sure.
Corey Simpson has pitched in 9 1/3 innings. He's given up 3 hits, 3 runs, assuming that only one of those was earned.
Pitch by Simpson is strike 1. Count goes to 3-1. Risch thought he had walked. He was ready to trot over down to first. He thinks he's walked there, and that's because he has. That'll be a 2-out walk by Simpson, and Risch will trot over to first base. That'll bring up Jake Alou.
It's the second inning in a row that Clayton Risch has gotten on base.
Alou is 1 for 2. He has an infield single and a fly out to center. He scored in the first inning, 1 of 4 runs, as Evan McDonald drove him in with a 2-run big fly. Risch will go. The throw to second is right on line, and he is out. So, a great throw by the catcher, Alex Sala. And the Mustangs' threat is stopped here in the third. After 3, Mustangs lead 7-0. You're watching Mustangs baseball on UClick TV. Wagaman, Davis, Phillips due up for the Clarinda A's here in the top of the fourth. I'll pass things over to James Stanley for play-by-play. James, take it away.
Yes, that's the meat of the order. Wells Davis, he was on deck as Clarinda left 2 on in the top of the third, now the top of the fourth, and the first pitch is swung on. That's a deep fly to right field, but foul, and it's caught by a Mustangs intern. Nice barehanded grab there out in right field. Try to get a name for you on that, but now there is 1 out. Top of the fourth with St. Joseph leading Clarinda 7-0 in Mink League action. Pardon me, there are no outs. There's 1 strike, however.
I know you'd love to count the out made by the intern over there in foul ground, but you can't.
That's
Nice
what was
try,
going
James.
through my head.
Sneaky attempt.
But Miles Kilgore working on his 4th inning. Davis flew out to left field his last time. Likes to hit the ball to the opposite side of the field as he fouls a ball to the left side of the net. It's down 1-2. Davis is one of 4 players in top 10 in the Mink League in batting average. Now, ball 2 taken outside, evens the count of 2 apiece.
As we've said, it hasn't been the offense that's slowed Clarinda down and had them in the cellar, the Mink North. It's been their pitching, and we've already seen them make 1 error tonight.
2-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. It's a foul tip called by home plate umpire Sean Bolte, and that will set down Wells Davis. Second strikeout of the night for Miles Kilgore. With Parker Phillips, another player leading in the Mink League, he is the #1 player with a .330 batting average. Right-handed hitter takes strike 1, stares at it right down the middle.
Miles Kilgore's done an exceptional job at throwing strikes. As he throws a curveball in there, strike 2. Jumps ahead quickly against Parker Phillips.
Phillips has 20 runs driven in, 8 doubles and 1 triple. Miles Kilgore, the windup and the pitch. Curveball in the dirt, misses low, 1-2. But there's 1 out. Top of the 4th inning, St. Joseph 7, Clarinda 0. This is James Stanley with Clayton Anderson for Mustangs Baseball on UClick TV. Phillips has 32 hits as he stares at ball 2, misses the zone upstairs. 2-2 the count now. On deck is the catcher Alex Sala. Anybody gets on, we'll see Mondesi Gutierrez. The 2-2 pitch from Kilgore. Ground ball, left side. Picked up by Millet over to first base and in time for out number 2. So an easy ground ball there. Millet, he was watching it the entire time in, and that will give the Mustangs 2 outs on the A's. Alex Sala has 15 hits, 4 doubles, 9 RBIs. He's a left-handed hitter. Stands just below 6 foot. Wind up in the pitch from Kilgore. It's a lefty-righty matchup, and the first pitch is fouled away. Strike 1.
And if you get through these 3 of Davis, Phillips, and Sala, 1, 2, 3, you're doing a pretty good job if you're Miles Kilgore. This is the tough part of the order, the meat of the order, really, for the Clarinda A's.
This is a deadly A's team hitting .282 and the 0-1. Curveball down the middle. Misses low.
Where did it miss?
Yeah, it's barely low. 1-1 the count now to Sala, but this team has 45 doubles, 9 triples, and 10 home runs. Now strike 2 swung at in the dirt. Sala not happy with himself. He walks out to the right of the batter's box and is shaking his head. Swung at that pitch in the dirt, and he'll have to step back up with a 1-2 count. Kilgore into the windup and the pitch. Big bender, strike 3, ring him up, pull the lawnmower cord. That's by Sean Bolte, and that's going to end the inning. So St. Joseph gets out of the inning with no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on. Bottom of the 4th coming up, St. Joe 7, Clarinda 4, or pardon me, Clarinda nothing. We'll be right back. This is Mustangs Baseball on UClick. Bottom of the 4th inning at Phil Welch Stadium. St. Joseph Mustangs lead the Clarinda A's 7-0. Due up is the leadoff hitter, Jake Alou, the number 2 hitter, Evan McDonald, and the number 3 hitter, Brady Anderson.
It's kind of funny because if you look at my lineup sheet, I have Evan McDonald start on my lineup for before the game because we were going to talk about him and him coming back from that 5-game suspension. Then you see what he's done. A home run and a single and 2 runs scored and 2 RBIs. So it's been a really good day for him, and he's going to be due up second in this frame.
He's also scored a couple runs. He's had 5 walks on the year, 7 RBIs. His only extra base hit is that home run that came in the 1st inning.
So I'm sure Jake Alou knows that Evan McDonald is seeing the ball well tonight. And so he's going to try to do anything he can to get on here against Corey Simpson.
Everybody's contributing tonight, and the first pitch is a strike into Alou as he stares at it. 0-1 count. The 0-1 pitch. Inside curveball finds the inner third of the zone at the knees. Strike 2.
That was a great curveball by Simpson. He looks really composed on the mound, and maybe he should have started for Clarinda tonight.
And the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 on 3 pitches. And Jake Alou is 1 for 3.
And this is the thing about Clarinda. If this is an early June Mink League game, you might not see a guy like Simpson come into a 7-0 game with him having an ERA below 1, but they are at dire straits where they need to win as many games as they can, being down 3.5 for the Mink first place and the playoffs looming.
And inside to McDonald, it's a curveball, and it may have been heading for him, but tailed off in the end and sort of went over the plate, but it's just a bit inside for ball 1, 1-0 the count.
And McDonald doesn't want to be hit by that. He doesn't want to wear that. He wants to get himself a knock.
That's the 1-1 count now with 1 out. St. Joseph leads Clarinda 7-0. McDonald is 2 for 2, and he swings at strike 2.
And that breaker has really been nasty for Simpson. We'll see if he dials that up again with a 1-2 pitch to McDonald.
But McDonald came in hitting .395 from Platte City, Missouri. He was the count of 2 apiece after the breaking ball misses.
Originally from just down the road at Gower, Missouri.
And the 2-2 pitch. Line drive up the middle and off the pitcher. Off the back of his ankle now. Throw to first base is not going to be in time, and hopefully Corey Simpson is okay. So chuck and duck is the usual term as the ball comes back to the pitcher's mound, but that ball was so low on the ground, it's more like chuck and jump. Garlis goes out as a single, and Evan McDonald is 3 for 3. Home run, single, single. St. Joseph struck for 4 runs in the first, 3 runs in the second, no runs in the third. Into the fourth, they have a 7-0 lead over Clarinda. So runner at first. Brady Anderson at the plate. He's leading the team in batting average in non-Mink League games. Swings at the first pitch and grounds it foul down the right field line. Hitting .318, 21 hits in 66 at-bats. He reached on an error to the second baseman Gutierrez his last time. He's able to come around and score after Louis Millay cleared the bases on a double. The 0-1 pitch inside, close cut and a shave up near the head of Anderson. 1-1 the count.
Anderson's pretty much a dead pull hitter. I'm surprised they don't have a little bit more of a shift on him, as the outfield's actually playing a shade to the opposite field side. Interesting decision by Clarinda, but I'm sure it's a situation where Simpson's wanting to get him to roll over.
McDonald goes, the hit and run is on. McDonald's going to round second, go to third. He may be running home as Matt Johnson waves him in. Stopping his second for a double is Brady Anderson, and the Mustangs go up 8-0 on Clarinda.
Good job by McDonald, who was running on the pitch to score all the way from first. And what I was getting ready to say was that I'm sure Simpson would love a pulled, rolled over ground ball to second for a double play, but Brady Anderson just saw that pitch and sent it right up the middle. A good piece of hitting by Anderson.
Anderson's 10th RBI of 2016. Now has 10. He's tied, well, he would have been tied with Louis Millay if Millay had not had a 3-run RBI double in the second inning. But St. Joseph is up 8-0 with a runner at second, with Kyle Urich up to bat. It's a 1-0 count to Urich. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout, a walk, and a run scored. He's third in the Mink in RBI with 23, and he swings, and that ball is hit deep to left. On the run is the left fielder, Millar, and he misses it. It's off the wall around third. Here comes Anderson, and he's going to be waved home. Here comes the throw from the cutoff man. And Kyle Urich will reach second base on the double. Don't hold your breath. It may be called an error, but Anderson is able to score from second.
I think that's going to be a double for Urich. He blasted the ball into the warning track. It's going to be a tough running catch from Millar. It did go off his glove, but that would be a really tough error to put in the scoreboard. I believe that's going to be a double by Urich and RBI for him.
It is a double. That is Urich's 5th double of the year. That is now the Mustangs have 28 doubles. They came in with 25. And 3 by Anderson, Urich, and Millay. The 3 heavy hitters in this Mustangs lineup. Millay is 2 for 2 with a single, a double. Last double was bases clearing, as said before, and St. Joseph is up 9-0 on Clarinda. Ground ball left side, and that's through a hole. Urich is going to stop at third after the base knock, and Millay is 3 for 3. So lots of candidates for players of the game, as Jacob Hurst had a double in the first. He drove in 2. He struck out his last time. He'll have a chance to drive in a couple more. And St. Joseph has scored 10 runs against Clarinda every time this year, and it looks like that could happen again tonight.
That ball is fouled away by Hurst. He will step up. Hurst is 1 for 2 tonight. He has a double and 2 RBIs and a strikeout. So he'll step up in the 4th against Simpson, his first time against Simpson.
He's down at an 0-1 count. Simpson, a right-handed pitcher. Hurst is a left-handed hitter, and swing and a ground ball over to the second baseman, Gutierrez. He'll choose to go to first, and that's going to drive in one more run, and St. Joseph now scores their 10th for the 3rd time against Clarinda in 2016. Traded an out for a run, and it's a good fair trade if you're a Mustangs fan. St. Joseph now into double digits, and we've only played 4. Up steps Tyler Cox, swinging on the first pitch and fouls it away. He's 0 for 2. He's one of 2 Mustangs not to get a hit tonight. Not even to reach base, and that's Jeremiah Figueroa, the other Mustang. He is on deck. Cox came in tonight hitting .266, 382 on base percentage. Mustangs have tallied for 4 hits here in the bottom of the 4th with 3 runs. Scored 4 in the first, 3 in the second, now 3 in the 4th. They lead 10-0 over the Clarinda A's and the 1-1 Outer third of the plate at the knees. Brings the count to 1-2 to Cox. Cox played quarterback at Blue Valley West High School. He's from Overland Park, Kansas. The freshman in Maple Woods in the 1-2 pitch. Off the end of the bat, and that's a soft line drive into left field around third. Comes Millay, and he's going to be stopped at second. Now he's going to be waved home as the throw from the cutoff skips into center field. They were trying to get Cox, who was trying to take second base. And that'll be a run for Millay.
And that's just a huge mental error if you're the Clarinda A's down 10-0. There's no reason. You saw in shallow left, it was right in front of Millar, that Millay was not going to try to go home. He was getting held up by Johnson, and the ill-advised throw to home is what allowed Cox to try to swipe the second base, and then just a poor throw by Sala, and then everybody's safe, and you just threw the ball all across the yard. So that's essentially what happened. Is the Mustangs are now up 11-0 here, and only the fourth inning.
That's an error on the catcher. That's the second error tonight for Clarinda. They're down 11-0 now to St. Joe. It's a 1-1 count to Jeremiah Figueroa. So Tyler Cox singled. Might be called a double. We will check on that. Mustangs have scored 11 runs on a dozen hits.
And I believe
1-1 is a curveball, misses the zone. 2-1 now.
And I believe what the ruling is going to be is a single, and he advanced on the throw to home, because it was just a routine little line drive to left. We'll get a confirmation for you in between innings, but
might be called a double, but that'd be surprising. I agree with your call there, Clayton. I believe that it's going to be a single with an advancement to second on the throw, but I think that the run will be unearned.
The run scored. Milay scored on the throwing error by Sala.
Now a ground ball over to the left side, and that's picked up by Henwood on the run, and he's not going to make a play on it. He's just going to hold on to it. Maybe it's an apple, take a bite out of it as he runs into left field. But Figueroa with the infield base hit. Now every Mustang in this lineup has reached base.
Now I'm just going to talk about Cox's little hit there. That just shows how strong Tyler Cox is, because he was really fooled by a breaking pitch, was way out in front, his hips had already went, and just with his wrist got it on the end of the bat and was able to hit a pretty decently hard line drive into left field, and that just is a testament to how strong he is. You could tell by just looking at him.
The leadoff hitter is on deck, and that's Jake Alou. And now up to bat is Clayton Risch, the number 9 hitter. He's 1 for 1 with a single, a walk, and a run. He was caught once on trying to steal second base. That ended the bottom of the third. St. Joseph leads Clarinda 11-0. This is James Stanley alongside Clayton Anderson. St. Joseph 11 runs on 13 hits. Clarinda no runs on 1 hit. And swinging, and that's a line drive into center field. Mustangs 12, A's nothing.
Keep the line moving, and that's what the Mustangs are doing. So they batted around here in the fourth.
The gravy train continues. The Mustangs are coming up big. Surprised there's been no motion to remove Corey Simpson from the game, as Derek Adams started out. Gave up 7 runs, 4 were earned.
And this is one of those games, if you're the Clarinda A's, just going to feel like it's going to take forever for you to get on the bus. As you really need the win here, jump behind real early. And unless they're able to chip away, it could be a really long game for the A's.
First pitch into Alou, the leadoff hitter, is a ball outside. So it appears that Simpson is just throwing batting practice right now. So he's given up 7 hits and only retired 2 batters. It is the bottom of the fourth. In case you're just now joining us, St. Joseph has tacked on 5 runs. They scored 4 in the first, 3 in the second, now 5 in the fourth. They lead 12-0 over the A's of Clarinda, 2-0. Line drive, right field side. Watch out, first base coach. Counts as a strike. It's 2-1 now, the count.
And as you said, James, tomorrow North Kansas City will come into town, as there's 3 more games on this homestand, separated by a Tuesday away game, and then it's back at home again.
2-1, ground ball over to the first baseman. He's going to throw over to the pitcher, and he's going to step on the bag, and that will retire. Out number 3 as Jake Alou gets 2 at-bats in the fourth. He led off the inning with a strikeout, and he finished the inning with the ground out to first. The Mustangs score 5 on 7 hits and error. They leave 2 on base. But we'll be right back. This is Mustangs Baseball on uclicktv.com. Keep it right here. Top of the 5th inning back at Phil Walsh Stadium. James Stanley, Clayton Anderson with you. The Mustangs lead the Clarinda A's 12-0. Bottom third of the order due up for Clarinda. Mondesi Gutierrez will lead it off. He's 0 for 1 with the ground out to third base. Miles Kilgore still on the bump for St. Joseph. He has 4 innings pitched. Struck out 3. He's gotten a lot of help from his defense, and on the first pitch swinging is Gutierrez, and he's going to fly out to Risch in center. He's down.
Just as I was saying, though, tomorrow North Kansas City and then the Van Johnson Raiders followed by Sedalia will continue the homestand. Tomorrow night's fireworks is Baseball Classics, and then the July 4th is going to be 1812 Overture, a patriotic salute. So some fun times as we have the taco guy step to the plate.
Swing on the first pitch, and that's going to be a single off the infield dirt. Travis Abel is able to get on twice today. He's 2 for 2.
And Abel has swung at the first pitch on both of those times. I think he really does not want to strike out and give the Mustangs fans tacos, as he has jumped on that first fastball and is one of the bright spots for Clarinda so far tonight.
Miles Kilgore has some funky pitches going for him tonight. He's able to get guys out on the first pitch a lot. Abel's the only Clarinda A to get a single off of him. He has 2. But Dylan Millar, the number 9 hitter, he's 0 for 1 with the fly out to center field. He's up to bat, and curveball finds the zone at the knees. It's right down the middle. 0-1 the count. Millar watched that one all the way from the tip of Kilgore's fingers all the way into the glove of Henderson. Now strike 2 called. Another curveball, and Kilgore's out ahead quickly, 0-2. Kilgore has 3 strikeouts, a walk. Takes the sign from Anderson. He comes set from the letters and the pitch. Off the end of the bat, and that's going to be flown into right field, and diving is Tyler Cox. Out for 1, double play. Cox flew in from right field, dove, was able to get to his feet after he made the catch, and gunned down Abel on the base pads. So 9-2 double play, and that's going to do it. That is now the 24th double play that Clarinda has been a part of in 2016. And that's going to do it in the top of the 5th. St. Joe will come up in the bottom of the 5th with a 12-0 lead. We'll be right back. Bottom of the 5th inning at Phil Welch Stadium. The St. Joe Mustangs lead the Clarinda A's 12-0. Corey Simpson will be done for the night. It'll be a new pitcher on the mound, a submariner. But a correction now for the final out, the double play that ended the top of the 5th. That was Jeremiah Figueroa running in from right field. So that's the second night in a row he's had a great diving play at right. Tyler Cox has been playing a lot of right field. I believe that is who I had on the call. My mistake. Go ahead and correct that. The Mustangs struck for 5 runs on 7 hits, 1 error, leaving 2 on in the 4th. And up comes Bryce to the mound per our rosters. Submarine pitcher. It's akin to Cher, just needs 1 first name and maybe even Ichiro.
And I'll get you the full name here on Point Street because I'm going to look that up for you, James.
But Evan McDonald, who has a first and a last name, will lead off the 5th. He's 3 for 3, a home run, a single, and another single. There was a 2-run shot in the first to left field. Submariner deals, and it's a 1-0 count to McDonald. McDonald continues to swing a hot bat. This last week, he's been hitting .333, and now a ground ball off the edge of the home plate dirt. Now a spinning throw from the shortstop, Henwood. But McDonald's going to be safe at first. I believe he would have beat out the throw, and that's going to be the Mustangs' 15th hit. Brady Anderson, 1 for 3 with a double, 2 runs scored, and an RBI. Scored 17 runs on the year as a .318 on base percentage from Valley City State. Completed his senior year there. He bats left, he throws right. 6 foot even, 185 pounds, getting the start behind the plate tonight for St. Joseph. He takes strike 1. It's an 0-1 count as the Mustangs lead the A's 12-0. Setting the pitch. Line drive right field. It's going to be over the right fielder's head and into the corner. Coming to third base is McDonald. He may be held up by Matt Johnson, and Brady Anderson at second base with his 4th double of the year. Doubled his last time up, and the gravy train continues for St. Joseph as the first 2 hitters in the bottom of the 5th get on via single and double. Kyle Urich 1 for 2 with an RBI in the 4th and a walk in the 1st. Scored twice tonight. The old bat right. They have a little bit of pine tar in his helmet. He's dabbing his fingers on the tip of his helmet, and first pitch, eyeballs a curveball down in the zone, 1-0. There are no outs in the bottom of the 5th. Runners at second and third in scoring position. St. Joe leads 12-0, and the 1-0 is fouled away for strike 1. Do we have a name?
After minutes of research, all we have is Bryce. That's all that's on Point Streak. So Bryce the Submariner is what his name's going to be tonight.
The 1-1 pitch. Nasty changeup. Got Urich off balance. He was able to swing at it and foul it off. It's a 1-2 count now to Urich.
And a lot of times with Mink League, you know, there's a lot of roster moves. People coming in and out. Something can get keyed in wrong. Somebody's last name can get not put in, or somebody's first name cannot get put in. So I'm sure that's somewhat of the situation we have as Urich fouls that one off and stays alive.
1-2 count to Urich. Said earlier he's 1 for 2 with a double and a walk. It's 407 on base percentage. He'll be a senior at Webster University in the fall, born in St. Louis, Missouri. The 1-0 pitch, the 1-2 pitch rather. Skips to the backstop and in to score is Evan McDonald on the pass ball. St. Joe goes up 13-0. St. Joseph is just embarrassing the Clarinda A's right now, putting up 13 runs in 5 innings, and the Clarinda pitching staff cannot seem to find anything that works for them. 2-2 pitch. Ground ball to the left side. The third baseman picks it up. That's Phillips over to first base. And in time to retire Urich for out number 1.
Urich picks up the RBI as Brady Anderson came across to score for the Mustangs' 14th run. And Luis Millet will step up for the Mustangs. But this might be one of those games where I wouldn't be surprised if we see maybe a position player for the Clarinda A's come in and pitch if this gets any worse. Or they're, as you do not want to burn a ton of arms, especially in a 14-0 game and late in the game when you got a taxing mink season coming up.
Millet takes strike 1, evens the count at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. No runners on. McDonald and Anderson led off with a single and a double. They both scored.
Millet has stayed hot. He's 3 for 3 tonight with 2 singles and a double and 3 RBIs and 2 runs scored. So Luis Millet can't stop him right now.
2-1 the count and the pitch. Fouled away for strike 2. Millet has a 2-2 count. St. Joseph has 5 doubles and a home run tonight. And 2-2 is fouled away. It'll stay a 2-2 count. Littered amongst 8 singles. Everybody in this Mustangs lineup has gotten a hit. The 2-2 pitch from Bryce. Swing and a miss on the changeup, strike 3. Millet is down.
It's a good pitch by Bryce there to Millet. That submarine changeup, and that thing really had a lot of movement. Now bring up Jacob Hurst, who is 1 for 3 on the night.
Hurst takes ball 1 in the dirt. 1-0 count. There are 2 outs. At the bottom of the 5th, St. Joe leads Clarinda 14-0. This is James Stanley with Clayton Anderson on uclicktv.com. Now a 1-1 count. 2 outs to Hurst. Derek Adams went 2 innings. He got the start for Clarinda. He gave up 7 runs, 4 were earned, 7 hits, 1 walk and 3 strikeouts, and a 2-1 count now. Corey Simpson came in for 1 inning. He gave up 5 runs. All 5 were earned, 7 hits, 1 strikeout, no walks. Now 3-1 to Hurst, who had a double in the first inning. It was a 2 RBI double. 5 on the year. And the 3-1 pitch from Bryce. Foul ball to the backstop. Pulls in the count at full. Full count, 2 outs. A little bit of a shift on the infield as the second baseman Gutierrez and Wagaman are both playing back. Maybe trying to play the pull ball and the payoff pitch. Ball 4 inside and a good eye by Hurst.
That just missed on the inside corner, but Hurst wasn't going to be able to do anything with it. It was a good pitch by Bryce, but just a hair inside and a good at-bat by Hurst.
Tyler Cox 1 for 3, kept the inning alive in the 4th with a single. Then came around to score on an RBI by Clayton Risch. Swings and misses at the first pitch. They've gotten a bit of wood on it as home plate umpire Sean Bolte says that he foul tipped it, but there's 2 outs now. And the pitch from Bryce. Ground ball, second base. Flipped over to shortstop at second base for out number 3, and that will retire the side. St. Joe strikes for 2 runs on 2 hits. They leave 1 on. Top of the 6th coming up. We'll be right back. This is Mustangs Baseball on uclicktv.com. St. Joseph will take a 14-0 lead over the Clarinda A's into the top of the 6th with the leadoff hitter, Alex Henwood, batting for Clarinda. Ball 1 in from Kilgore. Kilgore's been cruising through the A's like a hot knife through butter. The 1-0 pitch is fouled off. Millet in front of the Clarinda A's dugout, and he makes the catch. That will be out number 1 to retire Henwood.
That was very reminiscent, not quite as dramatic, but of Mike Moustakis in the 2014 playoffs when he reached over the railing over there at third base, as it's kind of the similar type of dugouts as at Kauffman Stadium. Similar area where it is, but not quite as far over there, but a good play by Millet. It's always tough to deal with that fence over there, as that's a high fly ball as Cox will chase, and that'll drop in foul territory.
If Evan McDonald would have made that catch, that would have been a candidate for play of the year. Evan McDonald's been fantastic playing for St. Joseph. When he first arrived a few weeks ago, had a really good defensive play where he threw out a runner at home trying to go from second to third on a ground ball, but now it's an 0-1 count to Fisher, who's 0 for 2 with a fly out in the first to center field and an error to third base his last time. St. Joseph has committed 1 error tonight. Got a couple double plays. Now ground ball over to the first base side to Hurst. He bobbles it, but is able to get it out of the dirt and give it over to Kilgore, who steps on first base for out number 2 in the top of the 6th. Eric Wagaman, strikeout in the 3rd and a fly out to center in the 1st. Came in tonight tied for 1st in the Mink with RBIs and home runs, 25 RBIs and 5 home runs, and first pitch in for strike 1, 0-1 the count. Urick now has 25 RBIs, so everybody's all tied up, and next pitch is taken for ball 1, 1-1. St. Joe leads Clarinda 14-0. We're at Phil Welch Stadium, and the 1-1 pitch inside misses. 2-1. Wagaman 35 hits, 6 doubles, 5 home runs, 315 batting average in the 2-1. Ground ball up the middle. Alou has it. Throw over to first base, and 4-3 in the scorebook. And the A's go down in order. They're not swinging at very many pitches. Kilgore has a low pitch count. May be able to go the distance. He has 6 shutout innings so far, with the bottom of the 6th coming up. St. Joe leads Clarinda 14-0. Keep it right here on uclicktv.com as seen on Roku. We'll be right back. Jeremiah Figueroa will lead it off for the Mustangs in the bottom of the 6th at Phil Welch Stadium. St. Joe leads Clarinda 14-0. Bryce still on the mound for Clarinda. Going to pitch his second inning to the number 8 hitter, the number 9 hitter, and the number 1 hitter. Clayton Risch is on deck and in the hole, Jake Alou. Anybody gets on, we'll see Evan McDonald. Figueroa 1 for 3 with a strikeout, the ground out. He has a 1-0 count now. And the 1-0 is taken inside. 2 balls, no strikes. Had to get out of the way of it. Bryce does not have much of a windup, Clayton. Just kind of goes from the stretch. Doesn't really have a kick or anything. He just kind of throws into his motion.
Well, he's funky enough with that submarine style anyways that, if you get too many moving parts coming forward, it can kind of give you some mechanical flaws. And with that submarine style already, he kind of just gets into it and throws it there because his arm slot's his big deception piece as he walks Figueroa.
Be ball 4.
But it seems like if you watch a lot of the good pitchers in baseball, at times back in the 70s and such, and you were talking about Bob Feller and Satchel Paige.
That's going back to the 40s.
Yeah,
Satchel Paige played here at Phil Welch Stadium.
Yeah, that's why I kind of jumped time eras, but I was going to kind of mention that, but Satchel Paige played here at Phil Welch. But back then it was the big looping windup was very popular, and, the idea was you get more power, you get more of your body behind it.
Now a throwaway to first base is a pickoff attempt, and Jeremiah Figueroa is going to take second.
And quite frankly, if I was Clarinda, I wouldn't worry about trying to pick anybody off in this situation. I just try to get as many outs and as fast as I can to get back on the bus.
But it's more about deception as opposed to getting power, because Jeff Montgomery for the Kansas City Royals, when he was down in Double-A ball, thought that having a windup meant that you get more power on the ball, but actually you have less control. He was then put on the radar gun, and next pitch is taken for strike 1 to Clayton Risch, who is 2 for 2 with 2 singles and a walk. But they put the radar gun on him, and he only lost a mile per hour or 2, and they had him sold. He then went to the stretch, and now it's a 1-1 count to Risch.
Well, and the thing is, it's a lot like hitting. You talk about people like Ken Griffey with the big winding of the hands, but it's all about getting your hands into that spot at the end. It's not about where you start. You can do all the stuff, as that pitch is in there for a strike, you can do all the stuff that you want to do with your windup, but at the end of the day, what's happening is you're getting the ball up and getting a release point out and trying to hit your spots. So you can do whatever you want with your legs and your arms before the pitch is actually delivered, but at the end of the day, it's really just deception, like you were saying.
1-2 count, it's inside, and fouled away to the backstop, still be 1-2 to Risch.
And everybody's different. Everybody has different timing mechanisms, pitching and hitting. You'll see that. And some people like to be simple. Some people like the, putting the arms behind the head. It kind of gets them relaxed, gets their timing going.
1-2 pitch taken inside, ball 2. But, the only thing about having a big loopy windup is possibly the leg kick, because you're able to step off the mound really far and maybe dig more into your pitch. But if you're going to be using deception to pitch anyway, then maybe that's not as important. And now strike 3 swung on a miss by Clayton Risch, and he will walk back to the Mustangs dugout.
And I personally think if you're going to talk velocity, that the actual stride in jumping out to the batter and gaining more ground that way from your left leg is more important than the initial kick. Because you see guys even in the slide step, big guys throwing. Danny Duffy sometimes from the stretch will go in the slide step. He'll still hum 96, 97. So I think that myth has kind of been busted by the big leg kick. But it does help hide the ball for some pitchers, and it can kind of give the batter something else to look at, which, like you said, it all comes down to deception. It can feel faster, but at the end of the day, it's not really any faster on the gun.
Swing and a blooper into center field, but it's going to be an easy catch for Abel as he runs in to shallow center, and up comes Evan McDonald, who's 4 for 4 with 4 runs scored, a 2-run homer. That was in the first inning. Now there's 2 outs. St. Joe 14, Clarinda nothing. This is Mink League Baseball on UClick TV, and the first pitch into McDonald is a slider and got him missing 0-1. Being a submarine pitcher, may be able to get a little extra zip on his slider, even a cut fastball, as his arm motion is side to side and the slider and cutter are both side to side. 0-1 pitch. Ground ball, high chopper. Second base, Gutierrez over to first. and that's out number 3. St. Joe strands a runner at second base on a walk. They will take a 14-0 lead into the top of the 7th. We'll be right back. This is Mustangs Baseball on UClick. Four, 5, 6 hitters due up for Clarinda. Into the top of the 7th inning, Wells Davis, Parker Phillips, and Alex Sala. Wells Davis, the number 4 hitter. He's 0 for 2. He's a tall lefty. Maybe stands 6'1", 6'2". Taking on Miles Kilgore, who's back out with 6 shutout innings of work. First pitch into Davis is a called strike. 0-1. The 0-1 pitch. Ball 1 in the dirt.
And it's
1-1
interesting.
the count.
It's interesting with Miles Kilgore, the amount of success he's had for the Mustangs and the amount of struggle he had for Southwest Baptist. They're at a 9 ERA. And some guys, maybe this is what he needed to come into a wood bat, know that his velocity and his pitches are not going to be hurt by a wood bat.
1-1, pop fly, left field, running over his Cox and into foul territory and makes a grab. He kind of outran the ball, had to reach behind him to grab it. Counts as an out regardless, and there's 1 down in the top of the 7th.
But as I was saying, maybe he gets a chance against a wood bat to be a little bit more aggressive, not try to be too fine, mix his pitches and not get so uptight and have maybe some of the homers or balls belted to the wall that you have with aluminum bats, and that kind of is able to gain his confidence back. And he's been a very confident pitcher for the Mustangs, and you would have never thought he struggled in college baseball.
Nasty 12-6 curve over the plate for strike 1.
And Kilgore's a guy, he has touched 90 a few times. He's kind of in that upper 80s range. If he's just a freshman, if he can increase his velocity by a couple 2 to 3 miles per hour, as the GM was talking about, how the GM of the Mink, that is, who is a Mariner scout, as that ground ball will go to third, Mile will backhand it, fire across the diamond for out number 2. He was talking about, just kind of looking at players. He says 93, 94 is kind of that threshold for throwing hard enough to be a legit scoutable player as a pitcher. And so Kilgore's right there, and if he just keeps, he's a tall, lanky guy. If he fills out a little bit, adds a couple miles of velocity, he could be a prospect here shortly in the next couple of years.
He has 6 batters retired in a row, falling back to a double play that ended the 5th. Kilgore is really dealing.
And the commissioner also talked about Brett Ash, who is a former Mustangs pitcher. He was, as a swing and a miss, a very interesting story. Ash was finished at Washburn University in Kansas. He was a senior. It was his last summer of baseball. Had to get convinced to come play. And he was throwing the commissioner, who's a scout for the Mariners, saw him throw 11 pitches. And he saw him hit 94 2 or 3 times and saw a good breaking ball. And he signed him to a $1,000 contract. And Brett Ash is playing for the Jackson Generals and just made the AA All-Star team for his league. So, and he's actually labeled as the Mariners as MLB ready and in their mix for people who could have chances to get called up later in the year. So, it's one heck of a story for Brett Ash, former Mustang.
3-1 pitch from Kilgore. Ball 4 misses. And Sala will take first base. That's only the second walk of the night issued by Kilgore, sophomore from Southwest Baptist. Two outs, runner at first. St. Joe 14, Clarinda nothing. Mondesi Gutierrez hitting .289, 0 for 2 tonight. Ball 1 inside. 1-0 count to Gutierrez, who's 6th in batting average in the Mink. Right-handed hitter rests the bat on his shoulder, and he cocks and swings, and that'll be strike 1 to the backstop. Figueroa in right field is playing a bit to the line as Rish in center is playing shallow, as well as Cox in left. 1-1 pitch. Fouled away for strike 2. Kilgore out ahead. Have a couple pitches to waste here. Kilgore, as Clayton said, isn't thrown in the low 90s. He struggled a little bit in the spring, and the 9.77 ERA in 31 and a third innings pitched. His last start against the Carroll Merchants, he earned the win, went 6 innings, gave up 3 earned runs, 2 hits, walked 6 batters, and 4 strikeouts. Tonight, that has been the exact opposite. Carroll Merchants from the Corn Belt League, not as competitive as the Mink, and the 1-2 is a ground ball over to Walnick at short. Across the diamond over to first to Hurst, and in time for out number 3. The A's get 1 runner on via walk, but they strand him. Still no score for Clarinda as they are down 14-0 to the St. Joseph Mustangs. It's the 7th inning stretch at Phil Welch Stadium. This is James Stanley with Clayton Anderson. Bottom of the 7th coming up with the Mustangs up to bat. We'll be right back. This is Mustangs Baseball on UClick TV. Brady Anderson swings at the first pitch from Cole Blackford in the bottom of the 7th as St. Joseph Mustangs lead the Clarinda A's 14-0. New pitcher for Clarinda, that's going to be Cole Blackford. Bryce is done for the day with 2 innings, 2 earned runs, 2 runs, 2 hits, 1 strikeout, and 1 walk. So almost deuces wild across the board on the pitcher's stat sheet, but Cole Blackford, a southpaw, deals to Kyle Urich. Urich is 1 for 3 with a couple of RBIs. He's now tied for first in the Mink in runs driven in, and it's a 2-1 count now with 1 out. And the 2-1 pitch. Fastball misses outside, 2-2. Correction, 3-1. And the 3-1 pitch from Blackford. Swing and a fly ball to center field. Abel has a read on it, and he's underneath it. Retires out number 2. This game has really flown by, despite being how high scoring it is. First pitch was at 7:01. We're almost 2 hours through, and the game's almost over. Miles Kilgore has pitched a gem for St. Joseph, allowing no runs on 2 hits and 1 error. But Louis Millet is 3 for 4. The single in the first, he scored then. He also scored in the 4th. He has 2 scored runs. An RBI double, a 3 RBI double in the 2nd. Check swing, but it finds a zone, bring the count to 1-1 to Millet. Came in tonight hitting .359, and he is hot in the 1-1 pitch. Ball 2 misses. 2 balls, 1 strike. Millet from the New York Institute of Technology was teammates with Dixon Marble in the 2-1 pitch. Ball 3 inside. Cole Blackford may be careful. He saw what Millet has done to Adams, Simpson, and Bryce. 3 balls, 1 strike, and 2 outs, and the 3-1. Ground ball, foul, down the left field line. Millet will have a full count. Last 7 days, Millet has hit .375, .444 on base percentage, a .708 slugging percentage. Swing and a miss on the changeup, strike 3, and that's going to retire the side. That's Millet's 2nd strikeout in a row. May be done for the night, as St. Joseph will have 1 more opportunity to score unless this game goes into extra innings, which could be quite a conundrum. But top of the 8th coming up. St. Joe leads Clarinda 14-0. We'll be right back. This is Mustangs Baseball on UClick TV. Top of the 8th at Phil Welch Stadium. St. Joseph Mustangs lead the Clarinda A's 14-0. And here's Clayton.
Thanks, James. Jake Lou slid over to third base. Luis Millet will be done for the night as Dade Wheeler slid over to second base in his spot. So Alou at third, Melee subbed out, and Wheeler at second. So Wheeler slides in to Melee's spot in the order.
Decision there from Matt Johnson to get some of his bench players in. Dade Wheeler has been coming in several times. He's a trooper. He stays on the bench. He's a great morale officer in the dugout.
The 3-0 pitch is just misses up and away, and that'll be ball 4. So the third walk from Kilgore will put Travis Abel on first base, and Dylan Millar will step in for the A's. So no outs, 1 on for the A's. 14-0 Mustangs lead. Strike 1.
Dylan Millar had that double play to right field his last time. You won't be looking to do that again. Great heads-up defense there from Jeremiah Figueroa as he ran in and made that great diving catch. Wish we could show footage of that maybe in the future. And that got him in the head.
Curveball hit him right in the dome. So luckily for Millar, it was a curveball, and that doesn't hurt at all as he'll go over to first base. And Abel will slide to second. So 2 on with nobody out. The A's got something cooking here with a base on balls and a hit by pitch, and Kilgore may be showing signs of fatigue here in the 8th.
There's no movement in the Mustangs bullpen on right field. But if you're going to be hit by one, that's one you want to be hit with. However, I don't think you ever want to be hit in the head, even if it's with a 55-mile-per-hour changeup.
Hiddenwood up for the A's. Hiddenwood, the leadoff hitter, is 0 for 3. He's flown out. He's popped up to short, popped up to third, and popped up to short again in the first. So popped up 3 times all to the infield on the left side.
Kilgore's been getting him to swing underneath the ball and just kind of bloop it up there, and his defense has been taking care of it. He swung on the first pitch in the first inning, and Kilgore's been able to take advantage of that tonight.
The 1-1 is ground to short, could be 2, but McDonald will elect to go ahead and throw to first as he was coming in. And they say that Hurst was bobbling the ball, says field umpire John Sweet. So everybody's safe. Bases loaded now, as Hiddenwood will be on with an error on Hurst. E1, or E3 rather. And everybody moves up, and the bases is loaded. That'll bring up Bryce Fisher.
The other Bryce.
Still nobody out. Bases loaded as Miles Kilgore's in for his 8th inning of work. The 1-0 pitch is low, and that ball skips past Anderson, but no movement by Clarinda, and no need to down 14. That run does not matter that much. You don't want to get thrown out at home and have a rally killer.
Worse yet, if you get hurt trying to steal, well, not trying to steal, trying to advance on the pass ball, that's not worth it in a 14-1 ball game. And out coming to the mound now was Blake Hardigree.
It's his birthday.
Happy 24th birthday, Blake. Pitching coach for the Mustangs.
He'll talk him through how to face Fisher. He's down 2-0 to. Maybe kind of just calming him down, reminding him that it's 14-0 and you got a good defense behind you. Fisher is 0 for 3 on the day. He has reached on an error by third baseman Luis Millet at the time. He's grounded to first and flown out to center, and is 3 times up.
You know, following that pass ball, I'm surprised that Matt Johnson has not gone with Ozzie Rodriguez behind the plate.
On a 14-0 game, no better time to work the kinks out with Anderson than right now. So I'm sure that's part of the thinking, as I'm guessing Ozzie Rodriguez will catch the game tomorrow. In the Saturday night game.
Fireworks. And more fireworks, and fireworks galore on Monday night on July 4th.
Fireworks, 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 as Kilgore misses low, and he is showing signs of fatigue, as you can really just kind of see it from his expressions. He looks like he's maybe running out of gas here, and this 3-0 pitch might have a huge factor, as I'm sure Hardigree was just buying some time for the bullpen. 3-0 pitch is in there, strike one on the inside corner.
But when the Mustangs score 6 runs, you get a free snack order of wings from your St. Joe Buffalo Wild Wings. Good for dine-in the day after the game with your ticket stub.
So do I get 2, James? Because the Mustangs have scored 14, so if you look at it, it's 2 6-run snack packs, right? I mean, I'm sure I could go talk to him and negotiate that. What do you think?
In that case, isn't it 6 1/3?
Well, see,
or
I think
2 1/3?
I think it's a thing where you have to complete the 6 to get any wings, but I should get 2 snack packs, is what I'm saying. As Kilgore walks in a run, as he walks Fisher, and he's really struggled.
But where's your ticket stub?
I'll find one. The pitch is in there, strike one. Still nobody out.
Wagaman is 0 for 3.
Abel walked. Millar was hit by a pitch. That's a deep fly ball into the gap. And that'll be down off the warning track, and that could clear the bases. 1 run's in for Clarinda. 2 runs in. And he'll stop at third. That'll be Fisher cruising into third. And Wagaman, who we've talked about how dangerous he could be, drives in. Actually, he drives in 2. And it is now 14-2. Ball grounded to Alou. Alou will throw to first, and that'll score another run. And then a throw across the diamond will continue to score another run. And it's actually 5-14 now, as the A's have tacked on 5. We'll update that scoreboard for you right now.
Walk us through what happened there, Clayton. Was there a error on the throw to third?
I'm honestly not quite sure. I was going to ask you the same thing. There's a ball thrown across the diamond by Alou, and then I think that they were trying to catch him. The advancement to third, the runner was trying to advance from second to third, and the throw was wild, and that allowed Henwood to go home.
There's no error on the scoreboard yet. We can check that out and find out for you. Kind of a quick bang-bang deal what happened.
And a correction, Wagaman's the one that went home. He was at second with the double, and his double actually did score 3. Correction, he did not score 3. His double scored 2. Abel scored on the walk. So Abel scored on the walk, and Millar, Henwood, and Fisher. Millar and Henwood scored on the double. Fisher scored on that single, or on the ground ball, fielder's choice. And then Wagaman scored on the throw that went wild to third. So a lot of stuff going on here, but the Clarinda A's have scored 5. Is another line driving down the left field line, and Miles Kilgore is really showing signs of fatigue, as that's a single by Wells Davis, and he'll be on first. So I'll walk you through it again. Abel scored on the bases loaded walk. Millar and Henwood scored on Wagaman's double. Bryce Fisher scored on the ground ball to third, and Wagaman scored on the throwing error across the diamond by Jacob Hurst.
You got that right, Clayton. I was about to say who committed the error when, but you were right on top of it. Now a runner at first base with 1 out in a 14-5 ball game.
Kilgore misses low. Count now 1-0 to Parker Phillips.
All of these runs but 1 will be earned, given there's been so many doubles and singles that would have driven the guy in anyway.
2-0 now the count to Phillips.
However, if an out gets here, then any other run that is scored beyond that out will be unearned.
Parker Phillips is 0 for 2. He's walked once and grounded out to third twice. is actually the catcher, Alex Sala. Ball's fouled away, strike one.
Kilgore was cruising until this inning. He's given up 4 earned so far.
Two now to Sala. Kilgore trying to complete eighth and save the bullpen, as this is going to be a long homestand.
Sala's been patient, as now has a full count with 1 out, and Kilgore cannot afford to give up a walk. He could get the hook here if he does that.
3-2 the pitch, and fouled straight back by Sala. So Parker Phillips was on the single. Will Davis had the 5-3 ground ball. It was his RBI. And then the extra run was scored by Wagaman on the throwing error. The 3-2 pitch from Kilgore is a changeup swung right through by Sala, and a great pitch when he really needed it. Sala strikes out swinging, and that'll bring on Mondesi Gutierrez. And he'll be the last batter until we bat around this inning, as Abel started off with a walk and the first run scored. So 2 outs here in the inning.
Strikeout number 4 for Kilgore. He's gotten Sala twice with the 0 for 3, Mondesi Gutierrez stepping up to bat.
1-1 now the count.
I was going to say, a bit of a seesaw battle for who's in first place in RBIs in the Mink. Urich he was tied for first with Wagaman and Davis, as they all had 25, but after that 2 RBI double by Wagaman, that puts him up in first place with 27. Wells Davis had the RBI ground out. He has 26, and now Kyle Urich is back in third with 25.
And a hard line drive to center, and that'll fall right in front of Risch. And Figueroa eventually slides over there to make the play, and Kilgore is still laboring as Travis Abel will step up, who started this all off with a walk. We'll get a second at bat of the 8th inning. And that looks like it's going to do it for Kilgore, who, besides the top of the 8th, and maybe he was on a little bit too long, will get the hook, and Matt Johnson will dial into the bullpen.
The fans applaud him, however. He pitched a decent game except for the runs given up in this last inning now with runners at first and second. So he'll be coming in to pitch for St. Joe.
We'll take a short break and give you some information on that pitching change. We'll be right back. This is Mustangs Baseball on Uclick TV. And that'll do it for Kilgore. He gives up 4 earned runs. His line is done as everything on base is unearned. And the hard-throwing righty, Matt Diaz, will step in. He's from the New York Institute of Technology as well.
A lot of NYIT boys out here in St. Joe.
Matt Diaz, who was the Meek League commissioner and the scout for the Mariners, said he was one of the guys he was wanting to look at. So Diaz comes in a night too late to get looked at by him, which is unfortunate. And he'll get his first guy as the Taco strikeout man, so he could really please a lot of fans and end the inning here with a strikeout.
Well, the Taco man is 2 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. The first run scored for Clarinda tonight as they have struck for 5 here in the top of the 8th.
The first pitch from Diaz gets past Anderson, and the runners will move up. So Phillips will move to third, and Gutierrez will move to second on the wild pitch from Diaz. And this is the first time Anderson has caught Diaz, I believe. So maybe a little bit of adjustment as Diaz does throw hard, and he spiked the first pitch into the dirt. It was a tough ball for Anderson to try to block. He tried to get it with the backhand of the glove, and it went right under. The 1-0 pitch is high. Ball 2.
And the pop on the pitch from Diaz, that sounds like a mid to maybe even high 90s fastball.
And he's not a tall guy of stature, but he brings the ball right in, and it just pops out of his hand as that ball is fouled off by Abel. We mentioned again, Abel started this inning with a walk, so he is the culprit of the Clarinda Hayes batting around, and he'll get the first crack at Diaz. 2-1 the count. And that pitch is in there, strike 2.
Deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 runners on. Matt Diaz will get out of this inning with 1 more strike.
The 2-2 pitch. Got him swinging with a high fastball. And he dialed it up there as that had some extra life on it. And Diaz records the 1 out he needs to get him out of the 8th. Mustangs give up 5. 4 of them earned to Miles Kilgore. We'll go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Mustangs lead 14-5. You're watching Mustangs baseball on UClick TV. And Jacob Hurst starts out with a ground ball to second, as he'll be retired for the first out of the inning. Free tacos after the strikeout man finally struck out against the hard-throwing Matt Diaz. So good job by Diaz to come and close the door in the 8th as oil was leaking a little bit for Miles Kilgore. Still a very solid start for him. Tyler Cox rips one in the gap, and that's going to be at least 2 as he rounds first and will cruise into second base with a stand-up double.
Third double of the year for the freshman from Maple Woods. He is on fire. It's 2 for 5. Just this last week, he's hitting .308, 400 on base percentage, .692 slug, 4 hits, a triple, a home run, an RBI, 2 walks, and has scored 4 runs.
Cole Blackford's pitch is up and away, ball 1.
Figueroa's up to bat now. He's 1 for 3 with a walk in the 6th and reached second base on a throwing error from Blackford.
The 1-0 pitch is a high drive in the left. That ball's going back, and the hero from last night gets a home run tonight as Jeremiah Figueroa has a 2-run home run as he drives in Cox, and the Mustangs jump ahead 16-5. Jeremiah Figueroa with a big blast in the left, and you could tell right off the bat that was going to be a big fly by Figueroa, and maybe he'll get himself going. He has struggled early, and he's had an impressive showing the last couple nights at the plate.
As soon as Figueroa hit that ball and the smack of the sound of the bat, you could tell that one was gone.
16-5, Mustangs lead.
That one was not coming back, and that is Figueroa's first extra base hit of the year and his first home run of 2016.
So after the Clarinda Aids scored 5 in the top of the inning, the Mustangs answer with 2 with 1 out here in the 8th.
Way to build up his confidence as he's been struggling of late, came in hitting .125 tonight. Now he's 2 for 4 with a home run, a couple of RBIs, and a single. So good job there from the junior from Arkansas Pine Bluff. He got a lot of pinch hit situations for Arkansas Pine Bluff. He's born in Chicago, and now he's a starter for the Mustangs, and he's doing really well these last couple of games. The walk-off single last night.
3-1 pitch is fouled away deep down the line and out of play. Clayton Risch on the night has had a pretty solid night. He has 2 singles and a walk. He's 2 for 3. He scored once. That was in the 2nd inning. He's added some production from the 9-hole spot tonight. A ground ball in the hole. He could run it out. A good play by Henwood. The throw across the diamond is in time. He got him by a half a step. So a good play by Henwood. That's a tough 6-3 for Clayton Risch. And that'll be the second out of the inning.
Good dig in the dirt there by Henwood. That was a good defensive play from a Mink League caliber shortstop. Jake Alou has not gotten on base since the 1st inning. He got 2 at-bats in the 4th and had the first and final outs of the
first pitch swing, and that'll be a slow ground ball to second. And that play was really messed up as the ball went under the glove of Wagaman. Nobody really knew who was going to take it. And then finally Gutierrez was able to get there, and the pitcher Blackford was slow getting to first. And it was all sorts of a mess. And Alou will take advantage, and he'll be over there at first base with an infield single. That'll bring up Evan McDonald, who has 1 of 2 home runs tonight. His was in the 1st. An inside-out swing on a low and in pitch, and that'll drop foul. 2 outs at the bottom of the 8th. Your Mustangs lead 16-5.
They're going to go ahead and call that an error on the second baseman.
Okay, so ruled as an error, so get out your erasers. Jake Alou at E4, and he'll be over at first base.
McDonald, huge night. 5 for 6. Or 4 for 5, rather.
There's a very bizarre play over there at first base as it went under the glove of Wagaman, and then he kind of got in the way of Gutierrez. There's a lot of confusion, miscommunication involved. More of a mental error, but the error will be charged on Gutierrez. Slow ground ball to third. Phillips will fire across the diamond for out number 3. So Mustangs score 2 on the big fly by Jeremiah Figueroa, and they now lead 16-5. We'll be back for the top of the 9th as the Mustangs look to shut the door on the Clarinda A's. You're watching Mustangs Baseball on UClick TV. Top of the ninth coming up at Phil Welch as Matt Diaz misses low and away for ball one. Mustangs lead the Clarinda A's 16-5 as that's ball two from Diaz.
Dylan Millar will lead it off, the number 9 hitter.
And the pitch to Millar is low and in, ball three. The Mustangs have had some struggles closing out games. Hopefully the 16-5 padding is good enough for the Mustangs. Scored 2 in the bottom of the inning. Low and away, ball four, so Diaz walks Millar on 4 straight pitches. And he'll trot over to first.
Diaz got that important strikeout to end the 8th where the A's battered around on St. Joe. But Clarinda came in with 4 players in the top 10 in batting average in the Mink. Parker Phillips, Wells Davis, Eric Wagaman, and Mondesi Gutierrez.
First pitch, Diaz gets him swinging, strike one.
And mind you, Eric Wagman, Wells Davis, and Parker Phillips make up the meat of the order as the 3, 4, and 5 hitters.
Up and away, ball one to Alex Henwood, the leadoff hitter, who's going to be on with 1 on, nobody out. He is so far singled and scored and is 1 for 4 as that pitch misses low and in. Diaz's fastball has been electric tonight. Clarinda A's have had a hard time with the bat speed catching up to it, but Diaz has struggled a little bit with command as this 2-1 pitch is fouled away by Henwood, and the count will go to 2-2. Diaz gets the sign from Anderson and comes set. Checks the runners and delivers. Fastball just misses high. It's a good pitch, but could not get Henwood to bite, and the count goes to 3-2. The pitch from Diaz. High and tight, little chin music, and that's the second walk of the inning for Diaz as Henwood will trot on over to first, and Millar will move to second. So 2 walks from Diaz. Open up the top of the ninth, and he's going to get Matt Johnson's going to come out and talk to him. I don't know if he's going to pull Diaz or maybe he just has something that he's seen between him and Anderson that he needs to talk to Diaz about, as he'll have a quick chat with him. And doesn't look like he's going to go to the pen as he's walking back to the dugout now. So very interesting. Usually Blake Hardigree will make those visits when they're not getting the hook, but Matt Johnson must have saw something that he could chat with Diaz real quickly, and he went out there himself. The first pitch is in there, strike one. The batter is Bryce Fisher, the right fielder. He is 0 for 3 with a walk and reached by air. And his 5 at bats. Ground ball off the glove of Diaz. That'll score 1. And it's 16-6, and we'll have runners on the corner with nobody out. So a good pitch by Diaz. He got the ground out. It just deflected off his glove, and a tough luck play for him. As it's now 16-6. Clarinda trying to stick around here. Still nobody out.
The second run driven in a row by Bryce Fisher. He had 1 in the 8th that was on the RBI bases loaded walk. Now Clarinda has scored 6 runs on 6 hits.
Henwood went from first to third on the single. And Millar scored. The first pitch to Wagaman is high, and Diaz will collect himself and step back on the bump. Diaz checks the runners, comes set, and fires. Fastball high and tight. Ball 2. His velocity has been there, control not quite so much. He's been sticking with the fastball, and Anderson's going to trot out there and have some chat with him. This is a situation for Diaz that, if he could deal with some of this adversity now and continue to have solid relief outings. He could maybe be one of the Mustangs' late inning guys come time as we get to the end of the season, as D'Amico has struggled at times. Hurst blew the save last night, but Diaz has struggled with command here as well as he gets the foul ball and count goes to 2-1.
Clarinda's still down by 10, but they have no outs in the top of the ninth, and St. Joseph has had problems closing the door here before. Hopefully they will not need to bring in Van Vactor or even D'Amico for a close, for a safe situation.
Fouled away, count goes to 2-2.
Clarinda struck for 5 runs and 5 hits, and on 3 hits and an error in the top of the 8th, and now on one single and a couple of walks, they have runners at the corners and have scored 1 and have cut the deficit to 10.
Diaz comes set, and the ball is belted to the left as that ball is deep to center, but a good job by Rish as he'll glide over and make the catch. That'll score Henwood, and it is 16-7.
RBI sac fly to center. And that's Wagaman's 3rd RBI, and now has 28, leading the Mink. Wells Davis is 0 for 4 with an RBI grounded to third base. His last time he's flown out to left twice. Tyler Cox in left field, not playing much of a shift. Rish in center is playing shallow, and the changeup from Davis misses outside, bringing the count to 1-1.
Davis has an RBI and a ground ball, but is 0 for 4 rather. With a strikeout, 2 flyouts, and a groundout. Count now 1-2.
Diaz sure could use a strikeout here. Give him his 6th of the year.
Curveball belted to center off the end of the bat a little bit, and Rish will settle under there and make the catch. So 2 outs now, and Diaz is 1 out away from closing the door on the Clarinda A's. That'll bring up Parker Phillips, the third baseman. Diaz comes set, checks the runner, and fires. Inside, ball 1. The 1-0 is way outside, ball 2.
Phillips came in tonight hitting .330, as said earlier, several times. 6th in batting average overall in the Mink. Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska, and Kansas League. Now a 3-0 count. Was stranded 90 feet away from scoring in the 8th when Diaz came in to shut the door, and top of that inning with a strikeout.
The 3-0 pitch. In there, strike 1. Phillips wanted to trot on over to first, and home plate umpire Sean Belty will call him back in as the count now 3-1.
Yeah, he had a few words there for Mr. Bolte. I said, you got to give that to me, but it's 3-1 count.
Fouled away, count goes to 3-2, so Diaz does a good job working back after being down 3-0.
That fastball was in the upper third of the zone inside, just maybe got an inch of the corner.
Crowd getting behind Diaz. The 3-2 pitch got him swinging. So Diaz strikes out Phillips for the last out of the inning. The Mustangs win 16-7, as their record will improve to 22-8 and 16-8 in the Mink, and still on top in the Mink North. Once again, Mustangs lead 16-7. This has been Mustangs Baseball on UClick TV. We'll be back with some recap and totals. Thanks for watching. And Mustangs win 16-7. I'll toss things over to James Stanley for a little recap and totals.
As we're here in your Mustangs post-game, the Mustangs beat the Clarinda A's 16-7. Time of game was an hour and 40 minutes. Your winning pitcher is Miles Kilgore. He went 7 2/3 innings, gave up, 2 hours and 40 minutes. That'd be a short baseball game, hour and 40 minutes. But Miles Kilgore.
Watching the game and fast forward there, James.
But Miles Kilgore, your winning pitcher, as he goes 7 2/3 innings, gives up 5 runs, 4 were earned, 5 hits, 3 walks, a hit batter, 4 strikeouts. Matt Diaz then came in for an inning and a third to shut the door in the 8th. Giving up 2 runs, both were earned, a hit, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. So Miles Kilgore with the win for the A's. Derek Adams went 2 innings. Started out, he struggled, giving up 7 runs. 4 of them were earned. There were some errors committed out there. Had 3 strikeouts, a walk. Corey Simpson then came in for an inning. 1 inning of work. He produced 5 runs for St. Joseph on 7 hits and a strikeout. Bryce then came in and he went 2 innings, 2 runs, 2 were earned, as well as Cole Blackford, who pitched after him, went 3 innings, 2 runs, both were earned. As in all, St. Joseph struck out 6 times tonight. They walked 3 times. They tallied 18 hits, scored 16 runs, took advantage of 4 errors, to say a couple errors, as St. Joe committed 2 errors tonight. The attendance tonight was 1,572, and St. Joseph got the win. On the first day of July, their first win of July, they had 21 wins in June, went 21-8 with a 15-8 record in the Mink. They now improved to 22-8 with a 16-8 record, still sitting at first base. They are up on Sedalia by a game and a half, given whatever Sedalia is able to do tonight. The A's fall to 16-13 overall with a 13-13 record, playing at 500 in the Mink North.
And that'll wrap things up. Thanks, James. This has been Mustangs Baseball on UClick TV. And as a production of UClick TV, I'm Clayton Harrison, joined alongside James Stanley, Michaela Brady, Tim Hanna. Thanks for watching.